Well, hello there, and welcome back to another episode of our podcast, New Steeple.
Same people.
We hope that you are enjoying getting a little glimpse behind the curtain of what we do here at Johnson Street and why we do it. Today we have another special guest with us, and we're excited to have a conversation with Brian Elliott.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Now, Brian, I know you're new to the whole church world and everything. Actually, Brian was on staff here for how long?
25 years.
25 years, and probably working here for 30 years, probably. Right?
Over 30.
Yeah, but he's been on staff for quite a while, and you just recently retired. I'm sorry, air quotes, retired.
Retired,
right?
yes.
And so you couldn't stay away. Could
They
you?
pulled me back
They
in.
pulled me back in.
I love that. Every time I try to leave, they pull me back in. Oh, that's great. So you are involved in a brand new ministry here, and
Yes.
and we're going to find out what this is in just a moment. But for those few people in our church family, but for the wider audience, tell us a little bit about who you are. Kind of just introduce yourself for just a moment, if you don't mind.
Okay. Brian Elliott. I'm 62 years old.
We don't have to go that deep.
Oh, you don't have to go that deep. Lived in San Angelo for most of my life. I claim it as home. Like you said, I was on staff here at the church for 25 years and stepped away from that. Tried to do something a little different, and it didn't work out. And then I got pulled back into ministry, but a different kind of ministry, but something that I enjoyed doing. Married to Larissa, be 35 years next year.
Wow. And
I've got 3 kids, 3 grandkids, 1 on the way, so 4 pretty soon.
Yeah, you probably could give most of us a master class on ministry in general, because you've kind of fit almost every role that a church ministry has to offer. Am I right? Except, I guess you've also done preacher.
I've done preaching. I don't know that I've ever done actual. Well, there was this one little church that I was at before I went to Central America, and I was the preacher, the Bible teacher, the song leader. Typically led one prayer, helped with communion. Yeah. So, and one other guy and me and a couple of about 4 or 5 little old ladies.
Well, you've done that for our church, I think, on a couple of Sundays. Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Because you were in Uruguay for how long?
In Uruguay for 3 years.
3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So you were there, and then you came back, and you actually helped start Russ Street.
Yes, I did. It was started out in 1996 as the Christian Service Center.
Right.
And then it was renamed a few years after that to Rush Street Ministries. And we just celebrated the 25th year anniversary.
Man.
This past year.
Seems like everything you touch just blooms and flowers.
I just got that started. Other people made it bloom.
Well, the thing I love about Brian is that when he was here, he was the guy who knew you were kind of the walking encyclopedia of Johnson Street. You knew everybody. If we needed something done, you knew who to contact and who to talk to. There's such a high level of respect for Brian Elliott at this church. Specifically by little old ladies. I don't know what it is, but they absolutely love you.
Well,
Oh, he's humble. That's good.
Make him blush.
But so today, what we really want to do is kind of talk a little bit about this new venture that you guys are getting into, and our next question really is what do you do? So tell us a little bit more about what it is you're starting up.
Okay. So back in the 70s, early 70s, the eldership at the time kind of took a survey of the church, and one of the things that came out of that was there was a need for housing for the older people, and so they started a foundation, which is called the West Texas Christian Foundation, and in 1981. They opened Christian Village, which is a kind of an apartment style kind of complex, independent living with 150 units.
What a huge vision that was.
Yeah. And then that evolved. But after they got that finished, they proceeded with phase 2, which was Village East, which is I think there's 160 houses. No, I'm sorry, 102, I believe. 102 houses. They're kind of like patio homes, and it's for senior living, maintenance free. And but they've always when the foundation was created, the vision, the goal was always to help elderly people in some way, to try to take care of the senior saints especially within the congregation, certainly above and beyond. But I know that Christian Village was, because they made it HUD, and so they could allow, a lot of people, more people to live there. They had to continually be updating things. The government was always, you got to do this, you got to do that. Well, they borrowed $4 million to build that thing. And after 40 years, they still owed $4 million. Wow. Because they just kept having to refinance the loan and add to it, because they had to keep doing all these updates, bring things up to code and whatnot. Well, in 2016, after several years of conversation and they found they didn't go looking. They were investors that were looking at Christian Village wanting to buy it. And but so they had a lot of conversations that someone finally kind of came around that had sort of the same vision that they did, and they felt like they would carry on the original dream, if you will, or the original purpose, original intent. And so they went ahead and sold it, and they sold it for $6 million, and they took that $2 million and put it back in the fund. And that was when they started redreaming again the board, if you will, of the West Texas Christian Foundation, and thinking, okay, now what can we do? Especially for our seniors, what can we do? And they also changed the name from Foundation to Ministries, West Texas Christian Ministries, because the foundation was set up specifically to deal with housing. Mm-hmm. And they actually wanted out of the housing business. They wanted to be able to do some other things, and it kind of broadened what I'm still going to refer to it as a foundation, but kind of broaden what it could do. And so they changed the name from Foundation to Ministries, and this was in 2016 that they made the sale. And so they started talking again, and about a year ago, they finally put a little committee together and said, okay, we need to figure out what can we do. And so they started thinking about this idea of, again, ministering to seniors. And they actually asked me back in August of last year, July or August, if I might be willing or interested in sort of coming on board and helping them out. And I was like, I don't think so.
You were done at that point.
I was done at that point. Anyway, like I said, I tried something different, and that kind of didn't work out. So in February, I was approached once again by Ed Houston, and this time I sat down and we had some conversations, and I said yes. And so they had already come up with a lot of ideas. They had a lot of stuff on paper, but they just couldn't figure out how to put it together. So they said, okay, we want you to put this thing together and, make it come to life. So we had, over the course of roughly 3 months, February, March, April, roughly 3 months, we came up with a name, which is Senior Life Ministries. Came up with the basic idea, the basic gist of what we wanted it to do, and got a website set up, got a little building over there at Rush Street where we're going to kind of use as a sort of a headquarters. So now it just kind of, we officially unveiled, if you will, the ministry on the first Sunday of May. And now we're just doing what we can to promote it, to get the word out that this is what we're here to do. This is what we want to do. We want to help people, specifically seniors, but not necessarily limited to them. So
Senior Life Ministries. I was there that Sunday when it was kind of unveiled. But if somebody wasn't, what is kind of the gist or the purpose of Senior Life Ministries?
Okay. I guess in kind of to really sum it up, it's to try to help these senior saints stay in their home and live independently as long as they can. A lot of them are on fixed incomes, so they don't have a lot of money to maybe take care of some things that need taken care of. And so what we want to do is be able to help them with some of those little things that might otherwise cost them money that they don't have, simply because, if you have a plumber to come out to change the ball valve in your toilet, well, they're going to charge you a service call, which is going to be about $80. And then if the person can't afford the part, we can buy the part and we can go in, we can put it in for them, and they're not out anything. Unless they want to make a little donation to the cause. Or if they can afford it, they can buy the part. But it's little things such as, minor household maintenance, maybe some repairs, depending on what those are and how big they are, and, what we can, kind of what we're willing to get into. Technology, a lot of our older seniors struggle with all this new technology that's out. They're, what do we call them? Technology immigrants.
Yeah, that's the truth.
So little things with if they're having issues with their computer. I know I was at someone's house, and this was even before this all started, but she was having trouble. She just installed a new printer, but she couldn't get it to print. And she had already called her computer guy, who I know personally, and I'm pretty sure would have charged her $75 to come out and figure out what the problem was. And what the problem was, I was just kind of messing with it. She still had the printer set, the default set on the old printer. And so when we changed it to the new printer, then it started printing all of a sudden. Mm-hmm.
Someone would have charged her $75.
Yeah, someone would probably charge her $75 to figure that out. So, if there's little things that we can do to try to help people and save them money, because we've got a lot of people with a lot of skills and they want to share those skills. And, one of the very first things we did right after we kind of unveiled the thing was go over to someone's new apartment and change out a couple of shower heads and hang a curtain rod. So, there's, some simple little things. There's also transportation kind of things. Maybe somebody needs a ride to a doctor's appointment, or maybe they're having car trouble and it's something minor like a battery, where you don't need to take it to a mechanic, but little things like that. Maybe they have a flat tire that they can't change, can go take care of that. We'll do some financial, this is one I have trouble trying to explain. Some legal and financial advising, nothing serious. Although we do have some attorneys that we can call on, and some certified financial planners who we can call on for some of the bigger stuff. But the things that we're kind of thinking of is a lot of older folks are prone to scams.
Oh man!
And so this would maybe just be helping them read through some kind of a contract, read through some kind of some of the fine print, so that they're not getting taken advantage of. And then another one is on the social side of things. A lot of seniors struggle with loneliness.
Yeah,
they don't have a lot of family maybe that's left, or maybe they do, but they're busy. They can't. So one of the things was to maybe just you go pay a visit to someone, go play a game of cards. Call them up, just talk to them, whatever it may be. I think somebody, and I've had other people that have come to me and said, well, what about this? There's a lady in our church. She said, I really like to cook. I said, could I cook somebody a meal sometime? I said, I bet we can figure out a way to use that. Mm-hmm. So it's really very, we don't even know the extent to what we might be able to do some things.
Right.
So it kind of depends on what the need is that arises. But it may also be that somebody comes forward and says, hey, I'm really gifted at this, or I would really like to assist with this. And maybe we can figure out a way to use that. Yeah. Right now, I'm the only quote unquote paid employee. This will all be volunteer based. Volunteers of any age, if you have any kind of skill. Somebody asked me last week or week before last, said, are you going to have anything that maybe young people can do? And I said, well, I would like to think that at some point, we're going to get some calls for people who just, maybe they need their yard cleaned up, and whether it's, I guess if it's in the summer, we could do it just about any time of the week. But maybe we, have some kind of a work day periodically and invite our teens or, just anybody that wants to come out that has a rake or,
This is so important. I think we talked about this in our Christian Campus Center podcast, but there are two demographics that are really growing here in San Angelo. And one is going to be this younger urban kind of young professional group, college, a little bit older than that. But the other one is our seniors. This population is about to really swell here. And I've noticed firsthand, my in-laws are here. They're actually at Village East, and just those daily issues are so prevalent, especially whenever I get a phone call and he says, hey, I just got a call and it says I needed some software for my computer. And my first question is, you didn't give them any money, did you? Right? But this is just one story.
Right.
And imagine how many people are being taken advantage of. And so that's why I think that the vision of Johnson Street has always been, since for the longest time, has been, in favor of its seniors, wanting to make sure that people who have, been here and been rooted in this church are not just left to be on their own when they get older. Mm-hmm. And so I really appreciate all this because it's real. The loneliness, the confusion is, even with us, imagine how quickly technology has changed. It's hard for me to keep up.
Oh,
so imagine if
too.
You're 80 or 85 and it's crazy, right? Mm-hmm. So going, as far as that goes, you were talking about volunteers and I know we have people that are listening and watching that may feel a tug that they want to do some things. What are some of those things that you really do need as far as people go?
Just any age, anybody that has or feels like or believes that they're gifted in a particular area and would just be willing to share that gift. And we do have a website. It is seniorlifeministries.org, www.seniorlifeministries.org. And there is, it's just a very static page, but it just kind of tells a little bit about what we do. But there is a contact button on there, and you can email us, and you can either email us and ask us to help you with something, or you can email us and tell us, hey, I would like to volunteer, and this is the areas that I would like to volunteer in. I've got I think I have 22, 23 volunteers that have already kind of signed up and indicated this is what I'd like to, or am willing to help with. I haven't had a formal request on it yet, but someone talked to me about a couple of little things they need done around their house. And one of those is putting a little brick wall back up that got knocked over by the husband backed into it or something like that. Anyway, I don't have a mason yet.
Jeff, you've done masonry but in the past, haven't you?
And in Nicaragua, I built some bricks, made some bricks.
I mean, I've gone to Mexico several times and laid a lot of cinder block, So,
Right.
but I was kind of looking through and I realized all these people that they can do, and some of them may that didn't specifically say masonry, but we'll find somebody. But it's just there a lot of people have talents that that people may not realize, and those talents can be used, and we can work around your schedule. You don't have to be retired in order to participate. We are practicing the go out in twos, if you will.
Good.
So we want people to, as a matter of fact, one of the persons who is technically one of the, I don't know, it's not a challenge, I guess it's a good thing, but a lot of the people that are signing up as volunteers are people that would actually qualify for the ministry because they're over 65. but you wouldn't, they don't think of themselves as old. They don't think of themselves as necessarily being in need, and they can take care of a lot of things.
That is so
themselves.
funny. My grandparents died at 97 and 102, and their oldest daughter, when she was, I think, 80, still taking care of her 97-year-old mother, and is still 80, 83, 84, taking care of her dad. That's crazy, but
No, I know.
there's loyalty there,
Right.
and a lot of people at this church are so giving, and they just want to do, and some of them don't realize that they qualify.
Yeah. And but one of them was saying, well, I never thought of that. I guess if we have to go in pairs, well, I could go with somebody, and while they're doing the little work over there, I can just sit and visit with the person, So yeah, there's again, in some ways, the sky's the limit because we don't really know exactly what. I mean, we have a good idea of the things that people are going to need, and so we're trying to build not a support system. What's the word I'm looking for? A network to take care of those things. But there may be some things above and beyond, or that we didn't think about. That somebody may be gifted at or talented at and may be able to do. If we do come up on a situation, I try to tell people, don't give us a shot, if you will. At least call us and let us come and look at it. Yeah. Because if we can't do it, we might be able to. I'm pretty sure we can. We can probably find someone that can help you with it, and maybe with a good deal. I know one of the guys on our committee has already talked to a couple of plumbers, and one of them said, "Yeah, call me anytime. If I can do it pro bono, I'll do it pro bono. If I can do it at cost, I'll do it at cost." Yeah. I've got an electrician that's the same way. So we have connections in town with people where we can get things done for somebody, maybe at a reduced cost, maybe at no cost, especially for the ones that really have a hard time affording it.
Yeah.
And I want to, I guess, kind of impress upon that, even though you could afford it, maybe you want to let somebody you trust and who come in your house and do something for you as opposed to just some stranger.
I mean, you're a friend to so many people here at this church, and my motto has been, if you can't use your friends, who can you use?
True. Right.
Mm-hmm. So you're here to be used.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, and one of the things that I see a potential of this too, that is just helping to bridge that age gap. You're talking about how, a lot of the seniors are the ones helping other seniors. Yeah. But if we can get some of the younger ones involved to really, use their gifts and their skills to help our senior saints, I just see, great relationships, forming and being built. And that's just going to be a blessing for everyone. So I love that potential that's there.
Because a lot of people tend to think that ministry just kind of happens and things just get done in churches, whether it's by the church gnomes little elves that come in the middle of the night. But it's not, right?
No,
Nothing
no,
gets done here without people. And especially when we have really our church is here in a large part because of the faith of those who have gone before us. And now a lot of these people who would love to be able to self-sustain and be here, and it's time that we step up and kind of fill their shoes, because that's what they did with their parents. And I'm sure their parents did it for their parents. And since this church is almost 130 years old, I think it's time, we continue that tradition.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. I'm very excited about that. Anything else that you want to point people to, or just kind of inspire? Because there's going to be people watching and listening who may not have known anything about this, or people who may just now be thinking, "Oh, I've got aging parents. I would love to use this ministry." The first thing they do is go to the website, right?
They can go to the website. We do have a Facebook page, so you can look us up on Facebook, Senior Life Ministries. And we have a phone number, which is 325-301-9257. And you can call, or that's a cell phone, so you can call or text. Yeah, those are but the three. The website and the Facebook page are probably the two easiest accessible.
And even if you know somebody who's older, maybe it's an next door neighbor, maybe it's somebody around who you think may help, this will be a good opportunity for you to kind of start a relationship with them, kind of make it into more of a fact-finding relationship to see, what can I do for you? And now you've got a big support, a network behind you that now you can actually help your neighbor, which is huge. So I'm very excited about this, and
me too.
I'm glad that you said yes to yet another ministry position. All right. Well, we'd like to say again, if you have any questions, maybe something you'd like to know more about, kind of why we do some of the things we do, what happens behind the scenes, let us know. Email me at scott@jscc.org or jeff@jscc.org, and we will get back with you. And maybe you'll find a whole nother podcast devoted to that question. So, very exciting. All right. Well, I guess that's it. Thank you, Brian.
Hey, no, thank y'all. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, and come back anytime.
Okay.
All right. Well, for now, this is the new Steeple.
Same people.
Podcast. We'll see you next time.
God bless.